Have you ever looked into the mirror and thought, I don't even recognize myself anymore? Not because of how you look, but because of something in you feels missing. You're often expected to become someone's wife, someone's daughter in law, and sometimes even someone completely different overnight. And somewhere along the way, you get worried. If you're married and feeling this way, you're not alone. It's something a lot of us go through, and no one talks about it openly, especially in India. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are diving into something not dramatic but deeply real. How to deal with that identity crisis so many of us face after marriage. I'll walk you through how to know it's happening, why it happens. Spoiler, it's not your fault. What to actually do about it, and even I have got some gentle but powerful homework for you at the end that might just shift everything for you. So let's begin. As usual, I have divided this video into chapters so that it's easy for you to watch. Chapter 1. What is identity crisis and why is it so common after marriage? Let's make it simple. An identity crisis is when you start questioning who you are at your core, what you love, what you stand for, and whether you still feel like you. After marriage, this hits hard, especially for women in Indian families. One day you're just you, and the next day you're someone's wife, daughter in law, a cook, a caretaker, maybe even expected to be an ideal version of all of that. You change your home, your routine, sometimes even your last name, and suddenly there is a very little space for yourself. According to a 2022 Times of India survey, over 68% of married Indian women said they lost touch with who they were within just the first year of marriage. If you're feeling like you are running on an autopilot but emotionally disconnected, that's your sign. Chapter 2. 5 signs that you might be going through an identity crisis. Let's get real for a second. Sometimes you don't even realize that you lost touch with yourself until that one day you just feel off. So here are 5 honest signs you might be in the middle of identity crisis after marriage. If even one or two of these resonate with you, don't ignore it. Your inner self is trying to speak to you. Number 1, you feel constantly drained even on days you barely did anything. It's not about physical tiredness, it's emotional. You wake up feeling low energy, you get through the day taking things off, cooking, cleaning, helping others, but there is no spark. Even if people say you have a nice life, you still feel like something's missing. That's often the cost of living for everyone and not for yourself. Ask yourself, what's actually filling me up emotionally these days? Or am I just giving and giving? Number 2, you become overly self-conscious of what you do. After marriage, you feel like all eyes are on you. Whether it's your in-laws, extended family, or even curious neighbors. Everyone seems to have an opinion. Did she wake up early? What did she cook? Why is she always on her phone? Oh, she's doing content creation. What kind of content? Even if your close family is supportive, the judgment from outsiders can feel you relentless. I'll be real with you. This happened to me too. My in-laws were lovely and gave me space to be myself. But the extended family, they started monitoring me as if I was under a microscope, questioning my routine, my food, even the way I sat and spoke. Neighbors were gossiping about how I was adjusting, not out of concern, but out of curiosity. And the worst part, I started internalizing it. I became so self-conscious that I started criticizing myself before anyone else could. That became my defense. I stopped posting freely on Instagram. I overthink every post, every reel, every story, worrying what they would say. This kind of monitoring pulls you away from your authentic self because you're not living for you anymore, you are performing. If you catch yourself shrinking or overthinking, ask yourself, am I afraid of the judgment or am I afraid of being misunderstood? That's the difference. Number 3, you can't remember the last time something excited you. Think about it. When was the last time you felt really alive? Like a song made you dance or a silly thing that made you smile all day? A lot of women say, I don't even know what my hobbies are anymore. That's not laziness. That's what happens when you're stuck in auto mode for too long. If your life feels flat or numb, that's a sign that your identity needs nourishment. Number 4, you avoid taking pictures not because of looks but because you don't feel seen. This one is subtle. Maybe earlier you used to click selfies, post stories, enjoy dressing up, but now you find yourself saying, what's the point? I don't feel like myself anymore. I don't feel like I have anything to show. It's not vanity, it's about not feeling connected to who you are anymore. When you stop documenting your life because you don't feel present in it anymore. Try this. Look back at a photo where you felt like yourself and ask what's different now. Number 5, you constantly compare yourself to other women and feel like you're not doing enough. You scroll through Instagram and wonder how others are so put together. You see women building something, they are glowing, posting their career wins or perfect routines, and you feel behind. It's not jealousy, it's disconnection. The truth is, you're not envious of them. You're grieving a version of you that feels missing. Here's a gentle reminder. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Stop that guilt spiral. Number 6, you keep thinking, is this my life now? This is the most common one and the hardest to admit. You have love, maybe even comfort, a stable home, but still something inside you whispers, is this all? That whisper isn't selfish and ungrateful. It's your soul nudging you. You're not meant to just survive roles. You're meant to live. Ask yourself, if nothing around me changed, what inside me needs to? If you saw yourself in any one of these signs, please don't ignore it. You're not overreacting, you're awakening. And this awareness is the first biggest step towards reclaiming the you that's still inside. Let's move on to why this happens and how to deal with it without blaming yourself or anyone else. Chapter 3, why you lost yourself and why it's not your fault. Here is something I want you to remember. You didn't lose yourself because you're weak. You lost yourself because no one told you how to hold on to yourself after marriage. No one taught you how to prioritize self-love after marriage without compromising your family. In Indian households, women are raised to adjust, be accommodating, put others first. So when we enter marriage, we often go into please everyone mode without even realizing it. You adjust your food preferences, your sleep schedule, even your job choices. And before you knew it, the version of you existed before marriage is buried under all the expectations. You didn't fail, the system wasn't built for you to thrive as you. But now that you are aware, you can start rewriting your story. Chapter 4, my story from being agitated to being aligned. Now, before I tell you how to deal with the identity crisis, let me share a bit of my own story because I have been there. 2 years ago, when I got married, I felt so agitated just trying to show up for myself and let alone my business. To give you a little context, I was about 3 months into my marriage, which was arranged, something I had actually dreamt of. My new family was incredibly loving and supportive, but I still found myself struggling to adapt. And you know what? No one gives you the heads up on how to live your best life after marriage. I have always been someone who takes time to adapt to a change. And marriage, it's a massive change. Before marriage, I was living my that girl era, super intentional, motivated, building my business. But suddenly, I convinced myself I couldn't be that version anymore. I became hyper aware of my surroundings. My confidence hit the floor. I started being extremely critical of myself. Whatever I did, I felt it wasn't good enough. Life started feeling like a never-ending to-do list. I stopped showing myself online the way I used to. Even posting a simple story started feeling heavy. And when I tried to snap out of it, I went the other extreme. Set super unrealistic expectation on myself. The truth is nothing worked. I communicated all this to my husband, who was so supportive and said, no one is stopping you, so go be yourself. And something about that click. I realized I have the power to change this narrative. That's when I remembered something I usually do with clients. They start by understanding and systemizing their business. Because honestly, I'm someone who thrives in systems and routines, and that's my superpower. So I asked myself, why not apply this to my own life? So here is what I did. I started journaling and realized my blocks were fear of judgment, self-criticism, perfectionism, and craving external validation. It was wild to see how much clarity I got out of journaling, and I felt bad for ignoring it for so long. Next, I blocked people left and right who triggered my mental health. Even if they weren't toxic, just not helpful. I also unfollowed over-the-top motivational creators who made me feel worse instead of inspired. Then I began systemizing small parts of my life. Morning routines, household work, and even I made a YouTube playlist of new recipes I tried. I created a cooking journal to save time for later. Then I clearly communicated my non-negotiables to my family and my clients. Boundaries changed everything. Slowly I started gaining back my confidence, not by waiting for emotion, but through action. And if something goes wrong back now, I know I can bounce back. Sometimes all you need is take one step, not because you are sure it'll work, but because what if it does work? Yes, I'm a married woman. And no, that doesn't stop me from becoming the best version of myself or going after the dreams, even if the society tells me otherwise. Chapter 5, your identity homework. So here are a few things you can start doing right away to reconnect with yourself to get rid of that identity crisis. Number 1, the I am exercise. Write 10 statements that starts with I am, which describe you beyond your roles. Make sure they reflect your values, your personality, and your inner world. For example, I'm sensitive but strong. I'm someone who dreams to be the best version of myself. I'm still figuring things out, and that's okay. Pin it on your mirror or journal and reread it as an affirmation every day. Number 2, reclaim 1 hour for yourself. This week, choose one day and block 1 full hour for you. No husband, no household chores, no guilt. Do something that feeds your soul, like go to a cafe alone, rewatch an old movie you loved before marriage, paint, doodle, or listen to 90s music. Just lie down and do nothing guilt-free. This way, you're showing to your brain that you matter. Number 3, create your self album. Start a photo folder on your phone. Every week, add 1 to 2 pictures. This could be a selfie when you felt beautiful, a screenshot of a quote that speaks to you, a snap of something that felt like you. Over time, this becomes your visual identity map, especially helpful on low days. So if you're in that strange, quiet space where you love your family but you miss yourself, you're not alone. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're just becoming again, and that's beautiful. Tell me in the comments what's one thing you're going to do this week to reconnect with yourself. And if you know someone else who is going through the identity crisis silently, share this video with them. We need more spaces where women can be real and seen. If this video spoke to you, then make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel so that we can explore self-growth together.